We started in 1885, and if you look at the history in 1885, there were some tremendously positive things going on in society. The Industrial Revolution was occurring and America was becoming very powerful. But as that happened, so too were people who lived in America suffering. Parents were being killed in mines and in mills just in this area. And many children were left alone. The way that children were dealt with in those days was to send them to the county poorhouse or to an orphanage. A group of women met on Penn Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh to try to do something about the condition of children in western Pennsylvania. And they formed something known as the Children's Aid Society. And the Children's Aid Society was the beginning of Family Services of western Pennsylvania. Now this is very significant. This really was the formation of the first foster care program for children west of Philadelphia. The program that they set up is actually documented in minute books that we have, and that program speaks of children who were moved from orphanages, moved from poorhouses, and placed with families in the Pittsburgh area. In the early part of the 20th century, the nation was engaged in a great deal of progressive social change. And part of that progressive social change included an effort to organize charity, to bring the many charities in communities together. And so in Allegheny County, another group formed an agency called Associated Charities. Associated Charities' role was to organize all the charitable activities in Allegheny County and create sort of a diverse social service agency. Associated Charities, along with the Children's Aid Society, became really the two pillars upon which this agency was structured. Up through probably the first half of this century, when people suffered depression, or when Uncle Ernie drank too much, that sort of thing was kept in the home or dealt with in an institution. If you were in 1950 and I said to you that 50% of the people who are alcoholics can overcome alcoholism, and 80% of the people who have clinical depression can recover from clinical depression, you would think I was, just making that up. But in fact, all the studies over the past 20 years show that those things happen. And they happen because an agency like Family Services and many of our other sister and brother agencies in the communities have learned how to work with people who have those disabilities. This is a challenging field to work in, and it's challenging not just because the academic preparation is challenging. That's true in almost any field. But you really have to give some of your brain and some of your heart to it, a lot of your heart to it, because you can look at issues and see them as problems, or you can look at them and see them as possibilities for success. People who work in this field have to be able to look at something that someone else would say is hopeless and see it as hopeful. You think they're okay. You think that they're going to be able to achieve what they're trying to achieve, even though it's very, very hard for them to do. I think when an agency has a distinguished history, that can serve as a morale booster for people in the present. It lets you belong to something important. It's not just that we have a name called Family Services. I think it's important that we focus on family, and for some people, in a sense, though not by blood, we're a family. We're a place where they've come and hung their hat, and where they got something that refreshed them, and where they came out of it better. And that's really what families do.